And I'm Forrest.
And
We have
this is our channel, Living Right, Debt Free Homestead. Thanks for checking it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
yeah. They say it helps our channel. We'll see.
We'll see if it helps. I think it'll help. So I'd appreciate it. So we're just gonna do a little video to give some background on why we decided to start this whole homestead adventure and
Little background on our lives. So we figured if we're starting to get subscribers, people watching our channel, they might want to know a little bit about our history, where we've been, where we're going, the purpose of why we're doing this,
or not.
or not.
But if you were curious, this video is for you. So, why we decided to homestead? No, that's not a good place to start. Is that where we start? Why do we want to do this? Okay, I have always.
Well, I don't know. I think the reason why we started doing the channel is for a couple reasons. Is one, we've been looking at properties for quite some time, and we've used YouTube as a tool to just see what other people are doing and get ideas and inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think for us, starting a YouTube channel is a good way to stay motivated, but also to maybe document our path, and our journey.
Yeah, I thought it'd be fun to look back on the videos, our family videos of doing it, and then just sharing how we've progressed through. And
yeah, people make family videos anyway, so if we make the family videos, we get to look back and see those memories, but we also get to share it on YouTube and maybe inspire other people and motivate other people, because I know in this crazy time right now, a lot of people right now are exodusing the cities and wanting to find that smaller town and live the simpler life.
Yeah.
And so, we've watched people chase their dreams and make it happen, and that's inspiring. And so maybe we can do the same thing.
Yeah, and we also heard you can make money too. So we thought, if that happens, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, right now that seems pretty far fetched.
Never give up. And ever since I was little, I always wanted to have a farm. So now it just seems like either do it or never do it. And I just turned 30, and Forrest is
31.
31.
So we both grew up in the Northwest, in a rural, small town, rural area.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of us lived on farms, but
no, we were in the suburbs.
Well, I lived in a rural area, so part of my childhood we lived in a suburb of a small town, but for quite a while, like my teenage years, we lived in a rural area, farms around us. People had their farm animals, cows and horses and chickens and goats and sheep, and I helped out neighbors around there, but
and I
never really thought much of it. It was just normal. But after we got married, we decided to move to the desert, to the city.
Yeah. So at the time, first off, we were from the same town. We met in high school, and then I went away to college, and then came back, and we started dating, and then I moved away to the Valley area, which is a horrible area. I don't recommend it. I'm just kidding. It's a pretty area, but it's just crazy.
Valley area. Do we even say where in the Northwest we were from?
No.
We didn't.
No.
It doesn't really tell anything.
No. I was a beaver.
Yeah. We're from Oregon originally.
Yeah.
Don't hold it against us.
Don't hold it against us. We're good people, I swear. And so, so we lived in the Valley, and I was going to school at the time and racking up a bunch of debt, and there was no end in sight. I was going for physician assistant, so to do that, you do a 4-year undergrad and then a 2 to 3 year program afterwards, and it was just a growing mountain of debt, and I got a lot of anxiety about it, and couldn't see myself not making money for the next really long time. And
so when we started dating and I moved to the Valley with her, because we were originally from Central Oregon, so we moved to the Valley. I was going to school as well, but my first year of school was paid through our high school, and then I moved to the Valley, and I got $3,000 in debt for my second year.
Yeah.
And I've always hated debt, so I didn't want any of that.
Quite a bit of debt. Yeah, and eventually it just sort of snapped, and we're like, let's get out of this cold place. Let's get out of this rainy, gloomy, no sunshine.
Cold, and then the recession was pretty bad.
Yeah, the recession was bad.
So that was, what they call that? That recession?
the Great Recession.
The Great Recession, is that what it's called?
I don't know.
Not the Great Depression, but the Great Recession
of
2008.
Yeah. So it was pretty hard for a lot of people with...
So even
earning.
Corvallis wasn't a big town. I mean, it was a college town, but it's not a huge town. And we wanted change and just adventure, so we decided to move to the desert. And
because at the time,
I wanted to get into the IBEW electrical apprenticeship, and I had tried in a couple different areas in Oregon, and because of the recession, there just wasn't any work. They weren't accepting apprentices.
Yeah.
Apprentices had been laid off for like 3 years, and I just kept trying, and they just weren't accepting any new apprentices because they couldn't keep their existing apprentices working. So, you know, I called around to different areas and down the West Coast, and there were areas in California accepting, and Arizona, and I had a good friend of mine that I grew up with in Arizona, so we decided to move to Arizona, and we never planned on staying here as long as we have. We figured I'd get through the apprenticeship and we'd take off, and then I ended up getting done with the apprenticeship.
But then I was in nursing school, so sort of switched gears from the whole physician's assistant thing to trying to go down the nurse practitioner route.
Well, she did it ended up just slowing the process down. Instead of going $20,000 in debt every year for university, just slowed down. And what, you got your CRNA? No, not CRNA.
No.
CNA.
And then worked as a CNA for longer than I'd like to admit while I had my babies. And then went to community college and got my nursing for a much more affordable price than the university. Oh my gosh. So much more affordable.
Community college.
Do it.
Always go to community college.
Do it. Trade school.
Before university.
Do it.
If you're going to get a 4-year degree, do your first 2 years community college.
Yeah.
Save the money.
The smartest thing I ever did was drop out of the university.
So that's
smartest thing I ever did.
big part of our story is debt. So, like I said, I've always hated debt. I got a little bit of debt, and after 1 year of college, and I dropped out and went to trade school, which was free. And it was on-the-job training. I went to school twice a week for 5 years. Got my journeyman's license, but it was free. And I earned money while doing it, and got raises every 6 months throughout the 5 years until it turned out and became a journeyman. And then she went the slower route and got her certificate and started working, and then worked on and off depending on where she was at in her schooling.
And another thing too, like doing the whole CNA thing, it was really great for his career as well, because it's a very like women-dominated field. And so they're very understanding about, oh, you don't have childcare. They're very flexible. I was able to work 2 days a week, and we didn't have family here at the time, so he worked Monday through Friday, and then I worked Saturday, Sunday, and we did that for quite a while. And
we didn't want strangers raising our kids.
Yeah.
We didn't have family here, so...
Yeah, for us, daycare wasn't an option. We weren't going to put our kids in daycare, so...
Nope, so we made it work, and our kids were with one of us 100% of the time.
Yeah, and I did online classes and night classes to do my prereqs for nursing school.
But another thing that you know, we got to take a step back too is when we got here, so we moved down here. So we actually just about sold everything we had, besides what we could fit into our '87 Nissan Pathfinder with over 300,000 miles on it, and we hit the road to Arizona.
Yep.
Barely made it to Arizona. We were coming into Tucson and broke down.
Had to pull over and wait, and it was super hot.
Yeah. Ended up getting bikes to save money because we didn't want to fix the truck,
and
fix
insurance,
the Nissan and insurance and everything else. So, I mean, we really did everything we could to pinch pennies. I mean, we ate beans and rice and chicken. I mean, that was like the staples of our diet, were beans, rice, and chicken.
Lots of things are nice. Yep.
We got down here, started getting to work, not making very much money, and we had at one point like over $20,000 in debt.
Over $20,000 worth of debt. Yeah.
Hardly making anything, and we just started paying it off.
But we actually put a hold on paying it off, and we were like, let's buy a house. But at the time, the market was really down.
No.
We didn't pay it all off before we bought our house.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, because you were working in Morenci, the last student loan that I paid off.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right.
I know I'm right. Just, oh, I got it on film. Oh. Yeah. I'm going to play that back to myself. I know. So we
started paying off debts, and we started to, when doing school for her, we either got grants or we cash flowed it.
We cash flowed my nursing
But we didn't do any loans from then on out. We started paying it all off, and we also started saving money to buy a home.
Yep.
Because the housing market was like rock bottom.
Oh, it was so low.
I was, even in Oregon, I always watched the housing market. As soon as we moved down here, I watched it. And we were down here for a couple of years before we ended up buying a house. But I was just watching the market, and it looked like things were starting to take a little bit of an uptick. Not by price, but you could just see the economy starting to liven up. And so I told Ryan, I was like, we need to buy a house. We really weren't quite, we're not making nothing. I was making like $12 an hour. And Ryan was making what? I mean, you weren't even hardly working, but when you were working,
like $10, $11 an hour as a nurse's assistant.
So we were hardly making anything, but we thought it was going to be, obviously a really good investment to get into it before it started taking off again. We knew we'd get a lot of equity in the home if we bought it at the bottom. So we ended up buying a house.
We penny pinched so hard.
Yeah, we penny pinched like crazy. Ended up, we found a short sale on top of it. So we bought at rock bottom, and we found a short sale, and it was totally worth it. Some people, I remember telling me it blew my mind, thinking that this is advice people were trying to give me. But, we were young, and people were trying to give me advice like, don't buy a short sale. It's such a pain in the butt. It's not worth your time, blah, blah, blah. Whatever.
It was actually better for us to buy it because it gave us more opportunity to come up with the money.
It worked out for us, but so it was a pain in the butt.
It was.
It took a long time, but it's worth the money you save. You got to think about it. Your time is money, but you
100% worth it.
You got money out of it. So it took us from the time we made the offer to the time it closed almost 8 months. But during that time, when we made the offer, we didn't have the money to put 20% down.
We were like, we got it, we're good.
So,
and then we didn't. We were like trying to come up
with
the last
we could have bought it. We made the offer not putting 20% down. We made the offer on basically what do you call it?
Like a first-time home buyer type.
Well, it wasn't a first-time home buyer, but it was just, we would had PMI and mortgage insurance, and
but we ended up coming up with the money.
The bank knew that we didn't have the 20%, but during that 8 months, we just scraped everything.
And we were able to come up with the money for the PMI, which was awesome because that would have been like an extra $230 each month on top of everything that just went to the mortgage insurance. So, and that saved us because there were some times where we were pretty tight with money once we got into the house. That that would have been really hard for us at times.
Yeah, we didn't have good money. We were driving piece of crap cars,
hoping it didn't break down.
Oh, and they did.
Yeah, they did.
They broke down, and
they totally did.
And no money for mechanics. I'd be sitting on the side of the road working on them.
Yeah.
But the point is like hard work and doing what it takes. We did not live a luxurious life before getting to this point. We're able to buy 15 acres in North Idaho. Like, it took a lot of work to get here.
And I think one thing too that always that really helped us out, especially with Forrest's career, is that he never said no to overtime. Like, if they needed somebody to work, he worked. And that really helped put him in a position to where he was able to rise in position more quickly.
Yeah, I worked every chance I get.
Every chance
always asking. I'd be on one job working as a wireman, journeyman wireman, and I would ask other foremen on other jobs, hey, I can you know, my job isn't working this weekend. If you got overtime, I can go to your job. You know,
a lot of out of town working too, and that really put us ahead. Like, we drove from Tucson to Morenci, which was, what was it, 4 hours, 5 hours?
No, it's about 3 to 3.5 hours.
It felt longer at the time. But, so we did a lot of long distance living. Like, he lived out there for almost a year. I lived out there, like, for 6 months-ish. I would drive back and forth. I'd work my days, and then I'd drive back and forth.
It was either her driving up there or me driving back to Tucson, but
it was more money, and a lot of people turned down that position because they didn't want to have to work out of town. And because our children were smaller, and I hadn't yet started nursing school, we were in a position to where we were able to make that work. And I think that really helped for us, like, make some of those connections and stuff to...
Some of the connections I made out there is what got me my position that I have right now as a construction manager with the local utility company. So, I mean, that's what really put us ahead in this venture. So I'm not working as an electrician anymore. I'm working as a construction manager. And
it's changed our lives.
Yeah. And
100% it's changed our lives.
Ended up, you know, making really good money with what I'm doing right now. And so, you know, obviously that put us ahead. But it all started back when we weren't making very good money. You know, we bought our house low. We put 20% down. We didn't owe a whole lot on it. I mean, our loan was just a little over,
it was like 89?
It was
the original loan amount?
88, I think. 88,000 was our original loan.
The sell price was 110. But after like closing costs and, you know, putting the 20% down and stuff, it ended up being just under 90.
So that was our goal, to get that paid off for a long time. And, you know, we were not really making a whole lot of progress on it at first when we first bought it because we weren't making any money. But then when I turned out, right around the time I think we turned out, we actually refinanced it from a 30-year loan to a 10-year loan. So we figured, you know, if we don't put any extra on it, we'll at least get it paid off in 10 years. So we refinanced it. But our careers at that time were just taking off because she was starting to become a nurse. And I, you know, as soon as I turned out as a journeyman, I basically went and I started becoming management. So I was foreman and then moved into, you know, other things and eventually to what I'm doing now, construction management. But it just like took off exponentially. And so we ended up, from the time we refinanced, I think we had our house paid off like, what, 2-3 years after refinancing it? Somewhere around there.
Yeah, was it even that long? I'm not even sure it was that long.
Yeah, because it was at least probably a couple of years, because we refinanced it, I think, right around the time it turned out.
Yeah. But, you know, another thing, too, that was interesting about him working away, because he worked in Morenci for a while, then he worked in Lake Havasu for a while, and Kingman for a while, and during these different places, like in Morenci, we stayed in a hotel. So we were, like, literally living, like, I got used to, like, chopping everything up and bringing crock pots and cooking that way, so we were used to living in this one little small space. And then we bought his parents' RV, which is the one that we live at when we're staying over in New Mexico.
Not the RV we're sitting in now.
Not this RV. We have another RV.
We live in 2 RVs. One in New Mexico and one in Arizona.
So RV living is not exactly new to us. It's just new to me completely full time. But it's not that I haven't spent a lot of time living in RVs. So that's one of the reasons why it wasn't such a big deal to sell our house and move into the RV, because...
Yeah, the RV we just bought and moved into as a family full time is like a 37-foot long fifth wheel, and it's nice. Pretty luxurious in comparison to the RV I've been living and working in.
Yeah. Off
and on, you know. You accumulate all the time. It's been
like a couple of years.
Probably a couple of years, yeah. But, you know, sacrifices working out of town, but that's just another thing is, you know, we sacrifice in the short term so that we could reach our goals for the long term. Because, like we said, we never planned on staying in Arizona. We got stuck there longer than we planned, but we always wanted to move back to mountains and lakes and rivers.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what we grew up with. That's what we love. We don't like the desert, but just got stuck here longer. And then...
and honestly, that's one of the things that's been good for us with the whole COVID situation and the kids' school getting canceled, because then we decided to go ahead and homeschool, and that's been great because that's really given us more freedom to be together more frequently, because if the kids were in school, then I wouldn't be able to
Yeah, and we always wanted to
travel out.
homeschool them,
Yeah, we did.
but we had all these career goals and life goals, and that was sadly like came into play why we kept them in school. I mean, we put them in a nice, what we thought was a pretty good school, a lot of good traditional values, and
yeah, it was a good school.
But we didn't want them to be in public school.
No,
but it was just very hard while she was going to school and working, and I was working. And it was just tough. But then,
because after I finished my nursing degree, I actually went back to school to get my bachelor's in nursing. So even though I was working, and then I was going to school part-time at the same time. So the idea of having to do homeschooling was just not something I felt like I could do at the time. But then I finished my bachelor's, and now
she was done with that and just working, and then COVID hit, and you had to have your, basically doing the online schooling,
which was way worse than this homeschooling that we're doing now. I'm super satisfied with the homeschooling that we're doing now. So
yeah, a really good program, and that's what we wanted to do with our kids anyway. So it just worked out that we'll just continue homeschooling, and we do the Alpha Omega life packs, and
highly recommend that.
Yeah, very good.
But we do the Saxon math though. We didn't do their math program, and the only reason why we did the Saxon math was because they did Saxon math at their school.
And Saxon math is just a really good program.
Yeah, so we're like, well, we'll stick with that, even though it creates like a bunch of bucks and it's kind of a pain in the butt. But I feel good about it. So. But yeah, so here we are. We've sold our home. We live full-time in an RV now. We've bought our 15 acres of land up in Northern Idaho, the Panhandle.
Yeah, we tried making a video paying it off, but we failed. So the online banking won't let you make
more than $100,000.
Yeah, so kind of our journey is we don't like debt. We tried to stay debt free. We were debt free, but we've been looking for property for quite a few years now, and we didn't know exactly where we wanted to live. We looked in quite a few different states. I looked a lot in Colorado, Montana, Idaho were the main ones. Colorado was the first to go off the list, and then we looked a lot at Montana. We kind of had our eyes on Montana for quite a while. We went up there and looked at Kalispell area, Whitefish, and then we ended up saying no to that. We thought Idaho would be a better fit, and I spent some time working up in Northern Idaho before ever moving to Arizona.
When he was a firefighter.
And I really like Northern Idaho. Extremely beautiful, so we went up there, and we really loved it. And then with everything going on and prices, this probably wasn't the best time to buy. Prices are just sky high right now, but we wanted to get our piece of land. We didn't want to wait for prices to come down because we didn't know when that was. When they would come back down.
And there's also concern too, with just like so many people leaving big cities, that the prices, even if they drop in other parts of the country, I feel like they're still going to rise and inflate. And
well, not just that, is we want to get out of here within a certain amount of time.
We do.
And when we want to leave, they're not going to fall by the time we want to go. So it was either we just bite the bullet and pay a high price for the land, or we're not moving when we want to move.
Yep.
And we just decided for our family that we want to get out of the city. We want to go live the life we want to live.
Yep.
And so
we kind of got to this point too in our lives where we felt like if we're not going to do it now, that will not have been our life. Either we start living the lifestyle that we want to live, or our life will have passed to the point where that's
what's happened over the past 5 years. We've been wanting to do this. We've been.
Our kid going inside.
We've already been putting this off and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it because opportunities keep coming along, and every time a good opportunity comes along, we're like, we'll just keep this. We'll take advantage of this opportunity as long as we can. But then a better opportunity comes along.
It's golden handcuffs.
Yeah,
and you just have to decide: is it about money or is it about living the way that you want to live? And that's why we went ahead with calling the channel Living Right. Well, actually, I did. He was like, why'd you name it that? And then was like, you should have talked with me. And then I just did it. because it's do or die. We're either doing this or we're not.
Well, it's a tough name because it's like, really, you guys think you're so good, you're living right?
Well, I figure if we live half right, if we get halfway right, that'll be better.
We're gonna do our best at living right.
We're gonna do our best to live right. That's our goal, is to live right. That's our goal, and we're just gonna inch towards living what we think.
And living right can have a different meaning to different people, obviously. But for us, living right is just doing what we want to do, and life is short, and the older you get, the more you realize that. So we just want to take our family, go to a small town.
Grow our own food.
Try to be as self-sufficient as possible. Grow our own food. Raise our own animals. Enjoy our family.
Yeah. Money can't buy all that happiness. I'd rather be a poor farmer.
Well, you need the money to buy it.
You do
That's
need the money
for
to buy
sure.
it. That's true.
So now, we kept pushing everything off, and so now what we're trying to do is we have a goal in time, but it's also a number. It's not necessarily a date on the calendar when we're moving. It's a number. And so what we're trying to do, and we don't have our budget. We'll make more videos later. We don't even have our 100% plan down yet, but we're going to be getting ready to release some more videos of where we're at in the planning process. Yeah. So we have multiple home plans that we're contemplating. So I'm trying to design our house. We're trying to do this venture and do everything ourselves. We're trying to design it ourselves, build it ourselves. So like we have some plans that we're trying to look at. We're trying to,
and they keep changing and like morphing and shifting, and that's like really an awesome thing too, because it all starts with a vision, and then you work towards that, and then you adjust based off what's available, and so it's been pretty cool too, just to see like how the floor plans have changed, and how we go back and forth between layouts. And
so it's tough right now because, so back to what I was saying, it's a number, but to get that number you have to know what you're doing. Once you know what you're doing, then you can get the quotes and make the budgets and get the actual numbers, because you can't jump into something like this and think you know what it's going to cost. I mean, you have to know. Otherwise, that's how you get yourself in trouble. You can't go up there thinking it's going to cost you $150,000 and then it costs you $300 and you go $150,000 over budget.
Yeah, we can't afford to do
because
that.
For us, like, getting loans isn't an option. We got a loan for the property, but we knew that was very short term, because when we sell our house, we had a lot of equity in that home, and we'd be able to pay it off.
And that's what we did. Except for we have like $30,000 that's sitting there.
The bank wouldn't let us pay it all off in one payment, so we owe a little bit still on it, but we can pay it off.
We have the money. They won't let us pay it.
So so it's just a process. So once we get, and the plan will change. We're not going to get it perfect, but we're at least going to get it down to, okay, this is the floor plan we want. Do we know the exact countertops that are going to go in it? No, not at this point. But as long as we know the floor plan we want, the shop we're going to have, the barn we're going to build, how we're going to set up our paddocks and how much fencing we're going to need. Once we have an idea of what we're doing, then we can make a budget. And then once we have that budget, we can see what we have, where we need to be, and save up to that number. And once we have that number, we'll hit the road.
Yep. We're excited.
Very excited. Right now it's just tough because we're sitting here in our trailer in Arizona, and we just so badly, now that we own the property up there, it's so hard to stay here.
So hard.
It's just like every day you think about that 15 acres that we have sitting in North Idaho, and we just want to get up there and start making the improvements. We want to start getting our driveway cut in and start drilling our well and building our shop. So we want to build a shop, and then the first summer we're up there, and then park our trailer inside the shop to keep it a little warmer over the winter. And then as soon as winter breaks the next year, we want to start building our house and at least get it weathered in before the next winter hits. And then I can start working on the inside of the home over the winter. But there's going to be a lot of work, a lot of videos to come. We'll be really excited to share the process with anybody who wants to watch it. And please like and subscribe our videos.
Like it and subscribe. And also, I just want to say thank you to other people too that have put out videos who have done the same thing, because it really does provide like a blueprint for us moving forward. And it's cool to see people that are, a few years ahead in their journey and how they're working out some of the same issues that we're coming across. It's super helpful. So if you have any channels that you like watching on homesteading, comment below.
Yeah, please give us comments because, we're really new at this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is one of the, I think this is the second video I've ever made. She's made more videos than me. I work a lot out of town, long hours, because when I'm out of town, I don't, there's no point in going back to the trailer and twiddling your thumbs. So it's just like I work all day long. And so I'm going to try to become, more consistent with videos I make. And then when I'm back in town working and not out of town, we'll try to make, we'll make videos together. But right now it's hard because we're basically living apart the majority of the time. But we're going to try to get more consistent with videos, but yeah, just give us comments. We're trying to get better at this. Right now, it's a little bit awkward.
So awkward. That's okay. We're getting past it. I feel like this one flowed pretty good. This one's a little bit more natural.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Check out the links below. We're going to post some stuff in the description box that just stuff that we like.
Yep, and look out for our new videos. Like I said, we're gonna have some more videos about what our current plans are, and they'll change as we go. But yeah, thanks for watching.
Cool. Bye, guys.